Anybody have any good like young love shenanigans stories?
Um,
They're more embarrassing than anything else. I don't know if I would lead with that personally. I hope somebody else has one that's like less bad.
I get that because I wasn't about to
I
share mine.
my first girlfriend, I realized I liked her kind of late, and when I asked, she said nah, she was not interested.
Yeah.
But then I think, oh, give me, oh shoot,
You,
hold on.
you good.
All good.
What?
So now you got to share one.
Damn it. Okay, it gets really bad because I met her on DeviantArt when I
Oh
was
man, we taking it back. I had a
13.
DeviantArt. I don't know if it's still there. I used to make
Mm-hmm.
fake movie posters, and then half the
Yep.
movie posters I made became real movies. Because I remember I made a fake episode 3 one, and then they made an episode 3 poster that was just like the one I made, and I was like, ah.
What a ripoff.
it, it
You
was
took all my
it was
ideas. I want
Anakin's
compensation.
cloak flowing into Vader's helmet, and then they made that one. I was like, dang,
Ahead of
I
the
did. I
terms,
did it.
ahead of the times. Yeah, no. And I would talk to her. Oh,
Huh? What happened?
Uh, okay, so, uh,
love story.
oh, I was talking about, yeah, my first girlfriend. I She was my brother's, I was friends with her brother,
Ooh,
and you're not supposed to do that.
no.
But I started to like her, and then I asked her if she wanted to go out. She said no. So we didn't go on a date or anything like that. But like maybe like a few months later, she decided she did want to go out sometime. But instead of like telling me, she had her brother tell me, and he and I used to
Oh
prank each
no.
other. I was just like, this is a prank, and it was on School Spirit Day too.
Oh
So it
no.
was just like, nah, this is some mess. I am not
So you
hearing
were in
this.
pajamas?
So I'm coming down the stairs, and they're all at the bottom of the stairs like we're in some movie. I was like, all right, here comes the prank. And she just goes, I thought we'd go out sometime. And like, psst, I ain't hearing it. And I walked off.
No.
But she did actually legit like me. And she eventually called me and goes, I'm not playing a joke. This isn't my brother messing with you. I want to go out. I want to go on a date.
Tim
I
was
was
like,
like,
he ain't
oh.
about to get me. Bye.
I quite literally like hit the bottom of the stairs. Was like, I ain't here to mess with this, y'all. I was like, I'm out.
Oh.
I was in the radio station. I went up to the radio station. I was like, got on the mic. I was like, hey everybody, what's going on? Nobody's pranking me today on School Spirit today. Here's some Nirvana. I was like, not. I was, but it turns out she really did like me. So I shenaniganed myself, I guess.
It came back around though. It was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although having to answer that phone call and being like, "Oh, it wasn't a joke." Oh, Jesus.
Dang.
He came over and was like, look, dude, she's not joking around, because we were supposed to go out of town the next day. He's like, she's not joking around. She really likes you. And she called on the phone, and he's like on the other side of the room going, yeah, listen to her. I was like, oh, oops,
Oh man.
Damn.
my bust.
Good remorse.
It's not so bad. Ren, you don't got, I mean, you were saved by the bell. Tim came back with you.
Oh, well, I wasn't necessarily saved. It was just kind of like, it's just, put off a little bit. No, I met her on DeviantArt,
Oh yeah.
like when I was 13. So that had to be like 2001 or something.
Mm.
And she lived in Canada. So I got to go through that whole, you don't understand, Mom. I love her. Like, I don't think we ever even talked on the phone. We talked on like AOL Instant Messenger or something. And is probably one of the most embarrassing things I could think of. And I'm waiting for my kids to go through that phase too. So
Hey man, you did it. So I'm gonna share one. This is but I had a friend. I'm not gonna say girlfriend, but I had a friend that I met on this. It was a graphic chat website called Wolf Home. I don't even like wolves, but somehow I ended up on it, and it was yeah. Now that like knowing what I know now, it was definitely like some furry shit. But
I was gonna say,
yeah.
that's why you want to do Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Look,
I see.
but it was
Gadget
like
hack wrench.
I was just there. I was whatever. I think I was like 12, 13, and I had a buddy up there, and like we were friends for a long time. And at some point, I think I was a freshman in high school, and I brought up that I was having problems with my girlfriend at high school, and like she was like, "Your girlfriend at high school," and in her head, we were boyfriend and girlfriend, but we never said anything. So
Oh no.
that was super awkward for
Yeah.
her. Maybe.
Not for me. It's for her.
I don't know. We stayed friends on and off, and eventually, like, they started playing World of Warcraft with us, and then she completely blew up my friends group because her mother also played, and she's one of those folks who like ain't got shit going on in their lives, so they're just all up in their children's lives, and it was
Sounds
super
messy.
messy. It was super messy.
Yeah.
But it's for the best because the mother refused to acknowledge that I was black. She just kept saying, "I thought Tiff was Puerto Rican." So it it- what's
Man,
meant
that
to
only
be is
gets
meant to
more
be is all
awkward.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, thanks to them, I don't really talk to a couple of friends, but it's all good.
Works out. It works out in the end.
I'm probably better off.
Blew up the whole guild. It was a whole thing. So
So that was your first mistake, was playing WoW.
hey man, I claim it. All right. Thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time with us, we are the secret group of brown kids. Who are the secret group of brown kids? It's a secret, but you might be able to find us utilizing the orienting and pathfinding skills we learned all summer in the name of cock blocking.
Damn, kid's just trying to get his rocks off.
And I'm Tiff, your host, and with us today we got Tim and
Hello.
Ren returning for our final episode of our 3-part Wes Anderson miniseries.
Good
I didn't have a
afternoon.
cameo in the last one, but I'm back as a main
We
character.
gave you a shout out. you didn't pop up as the emergency concierge.
Oh yeah, this idea of the cross keys.
Yeah,
Called him up.
but it's all good. So, if like we already said, we're doing Moonrise Kingdom from 2012. Wes Anderson, his take on young romance. And so the plot is in 1965, a couple of 12-year-old lovers run away together, causing a grand search effort on a small New England island, and hilarity ensues. Currently streaming on Amazon Prime and starring Jared Gilman and Kara Hayward, who I'm not sure if they still act. I think they might, but they're definitely not as big as some of his other regulars. I don't even know if they came back in any Wes Anderson movies now I think about it. But
Not that I think so, but we did get a chance to see Die Hard.
oh yeah, Bruce Willis. Oh yeah, those are the big
Mhm.
names. Bruce Willis, Edward Norton, Bill Murray, of course, and Frances McDermott and Tilda Swinton pops in.
Yep.
Yep.
Just for a little bit.
Yep, and it had a theatrical release on a $16 million budget. Domestic made $45.5 million, international $22.7 million, total $68 million, which is on brand for Wes Anderson. The only like outlier is Grand Budapest, which made an insane amount of money compared to budget. But most of his movies, like I said, don't really make a lot of money. I mean, it's still 16 to 68 is still like a huge success. So
Yeah, they make enough money to justify making another one. But
Yeah.
they've never made Die Hard.
True. And Rotten Tomatoes critic score 93, audience 86. So
Yeah.
it's a great movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It was better the second time around. I don't know why I had to stick up my ass the first time I watched it, but I was all like,
This ain't Royal
it's
Tenenbaums.
not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted.
Wait. When did you watch it the first time?
I think when it first came out.
That's okay.
Like around
And
2012.
how old is your oldest kid?
My oldest is like going to be 13 in
okay,
like next month.
That might break my theory. I was gonna say maybe it's because you're a dad now, and like
I'm more of a dad now because now we have 3 kids.
Okay,
so
like you, but now you're more comfortable with like kid shenanigans, and you're like maybe it meshed well because of that.
I don't know. I kind of have to be, but like I wanted something a little bit more self-serious, like a story about an orphan.
Okay,
and everything is kind of what I wanted more, I guess, from Wes Anderson at the moment. I did like it wasn't moving at breakneck speed like the last 2 movies we watched.
That's true.
You know,
it's definitely slower. I hadn't thought about
it. But the pacing
it felt a little bit more coherent,
wasn't
a little
bad
easier
at all
to keep track with.
But it just...
No, it's only an hour and a half, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect amount of time. You know, a lot of fun,
Tim.
a lot of great details.
Oh no,
I think more than anything, watching any of these. Sorry, that was half me thinking too much.
Okay.
I was like, oh, let
I
me
saw
open my
your
notes.
lips
I don't have to
move.
do that.
And I just thought,
I was like, I'll open my notes, but I can just think independently of them.
okay.
I think all of these, a rewatch is perfect for them.
Mhm.
Like, you should watch it once and give it some time. Like,
Yeah.
if you watched it twice in the same weekend, I'd still feel like just that maybe like 8 months to a few years down the road will straighten some things out.
Yeah.
Because for
Yeah.
me, it really felt like a completely different movie than I thought I watched.
When
And
was the
I
first
don't
time you watched
remember
it?
the back half.
Okay.
Like, I feel like the back half was completely more engaging than I remembered it being.
Mhm. I
So,
think I'm with you. I mean, I loved it the first time. Like, I think it's actually my highest rate. I know I kept saying Grand Budapest was, but I looked and this one was my highest rated Wes Anderson. Because,
oh,
Really?
like I said, I just really have a thing for like kids doing hood rat shit.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't remember the second half also when I started this
I was
watch.
like, I know this.
I was like,
I
wait,
know this falls apart and everybody gets sad, but then there's like as soon as it was like, hey, we're breaking him out, I was like, oh right,
yeah.
like geez, okay.
Yeah,
How did I
I
forget
remembered.
any of this?
Yeah, I remember him getting adopted by Die Hard,
Oh,
and that
we're
is
gonna
a
spoil the
happy ending and
movie.
stuff.
I
Oh
mean,
shoot, I'm sorry.
no, it's all right. They know the deal by now, right?
I should hope so. If this is your first introduction to this movie, is this podcast, then you should probably just like
yeah,
take a break,
we
go watch a movie.
we spoiled this movie from 2012. We're sorry. No,
Yep.
but you
Sorry.
good. No, we I mean, if there's like I said, if they're still here, they're on board.
Yeah.
Do
But
do
yeah,
I have to have seen other Wes Anderson movies to understand what's going on in Moonrise Kingdom?
this
You do actually. It's
To
the
a
entire Wes
degree.
Anderson multiverse. Like,
look, this is one of the ones I would tell people to start with before they get into the later stuff where he's starting to cannibalize himself.
I think if you could come up with a list of Wes Anderson movies that are good entryway films for his style, because throwing somebody just blinded naked into Grand Budapest Hotel seems a little extreme. I don't know if I would be like, oh, you like art movies, art house movies? Sure, go watch Grand Budapest Hotel. Like, no, just maybe Royal Tenenbaums, maybe a Moonrise Kingdom,
Grand
maybe a
Budapest,
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I think that one's safe because it doesn't, it's not too weird off bat, and it like gets there, or
I
like
don't think it's weird. It's just so fast.
that's true.
It's very
You know what I mean?
fast.
Yeah.
It's fast enough that the flashback can catch you off guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
'Cause
turn
you're like,
around.
you're suddenly like,
Yeah.
wait, what happened? Who is this? And then you're back. You're like, whoa.
Side note,
Oh,
Yeah,
that
I
was a
think
whole sequence I didn't even pay attention
all
to.
three of the movies we watched are like 87 minutes. It's just wild.
Are they really?
Like by the time the credits roll, I think
Mhm.
they're all like between 87 or like 85 and like 87 minutes from like start to credits. It's just
Interesting.
nuts. Also, why
That's
do
a
I
weird
think
number.
in terms of that? But yes.
They gotta start putting post credit scenes where Samuel L. Jackson just walks up to one of the main characters. It's like, hey,
Would you like
you ever
to
run a hotel?
Like, just walks up to the kids, like, adopt you into the Avengers Initiative.
the Wes Anderson initiative? The Indian paintbrush initiative?
Anderson's. Anderson's a symbol.
Wes Anderson's
It's
Endgame.
just like clip after clip of the zoom in.
This is Jason Schwartzman. I'm sorry. Why do you have to snap again? It's so I can control the universe. I don't buy it.
We can come up with casting decisions for that later.
I'm sorry. In my head, Jason Schwartzman was already Iron Man, and it's just too much snark.
Really? I
Just
thought he
too
was gonna
much
be
snark. Just
I don't know, I
constant
think-
snark.
Tony Stark.
Ant-Man. I was gonna say Ant-Man. He's so little already. Like,
Why do I have to be in the suit? It's because I'm small.
it's true. It's true. It's
I am
because
small.
you're literal.
I'm small. You're
It's
right.
because you're
So
different.
it's not a bad choice.
Would Owen Wilson
I wouldn't have made it
Captain
myself.
America or Thor?
Oh shoot! And you can have a. Oh man, I wish I could remember her name right now. You have Scarlett Johansson. as Black Widow still.
She's just there.
She's still Black.
Yeah.
Her suit's just a leather jacket and like black jeans.
Yeah, it's not.
I
It's
actually
not
like that better,
but all still his like aesthetic.
yeah. All the
I
same
thought-
cinematography, all the same color palettes.
I don't understand. I
the-
thought you spoke Russian. I forgot some of it. Okay.
Someone's going to hear this and generate the AI trailer.
I'd be surprised if it didn't exist.
It's
but
probably
yeah.
already exists. Yeah, but
Somebody did that little Wes Anderson's X-Men video. That was cute.
Oh,
They
yeah.
filmed
That-
the little thing. That was
That
very
actually
cute.
felt like there's way more effort in that. I did love
Mhm.
that.
There was so much effort put into
Yeah.
that, and it was very cute.
I
loved
hate
it.
AI. But then I see stuff like that, and I'm like, damn it! Like, it's,
Yeah.
but this is the only way this would exist. Like, that's fair. Okay, that's the only acceptable use is like memes.
Memes.
Like, you can't get paid off of this shit though. Like,
AI is going
No.
to corner the memes market.
yeah, let's get into it. Film starts out with Susie Bishop at home with her 2 parents and 3 younger brothers passing time during the storm, and then the next day she checks the mailbox and has a letter addressed to her. I don't remember if we see what the letter says or not, but don't matter. Then we get some
Later, I think.
Yeah, then we get some background from the narrator played by Bob Balaban, another Wes Anderson regular. And he says, this is the island of New Penzance, 16 miles long, forested with old growth pine and maple, crisscrossed by shallow tidal creeks. Chickasha territory, even though that never, whatever. Chickasha territory. No paved roads, but instead many miles of intersecting footpaths and dirt trails and a ferry that runs twice a day. The year is 1965. We are on a far edge of the Black Beacon Sound, famous for the ferocious and well-documented storm which will strike the east coast of the island on the 5th of September in 3 days' time. Then we arrive at the Camp Ivanhoe, a khaki scout of North America camp led by Edward Norton.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what's his name? Scout leader Randall Ward. Then we see them like doing like quirky little scout things. And then they sit down for breakfast and I keep calling him what's his name? I'm just calling him Randy, Scout Leader Randy. Scout Leader Randy realizes that like one of the kids are missing, and it's Sam Shakusky. Am I saying the right shit?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Shakusky. And then they check his tent, and they find out that he ran away. So Scout Leader Randy notifies Captain Sharp, who's played by Bruce Willis, and he's like the top cop on the island, or maybe the only cop.
I think he's the only cop.
Yeah.
About the disappearance, and then they notify Sam's foster parents, who they didn't know that he was a foster kid and is an orphan. But the foster parents tell him that he's not invited back because he's emotionally disturbed.
That was rough.
And you can
because
see
they were
the
like
60s,
not having
man.
it.
You can
Yeah.
see
like,
that
"Nope,
like Captain Sharp
not a good
and
fit."
Scout Leader Randy are like, damn.
Yeah, they like, sir.
So that's when like that's how Sharp finds out that he's an orphan, because he was like, "Are you his dad?" And he's like, "Nah,
Hell no.
I'm his foster parent." He's like, and Scout Leader Randy's
First I've
like,
heard of this.
yeah, first I've heard of this. How come that wasn't in the register? And he's like, "What register?" "Well, I sent you a letter. It should be arriving presently." He just looks up in the letters on the whatever. Goofy. That's another Wes Anderson thing. Like, oh, the letters should be arriving now, and so it's there. Let me open it.
So it's always some kind of written correspondence.
Yeah. I mean, probably because it's like they're always like slightly back in time, or you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
60s.
They get
loves the
very
60s.
I'm going to butcher the word anachronistic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
They get that way all the because I don't think Tannenbaums took place too far in the past, but it was purposely like
It definitely wasn't with like
weird.
internet times, right?
yeah.
well, like there weren't even like cell phones.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I wonder
Now
if
I'm trying to
that's
think
done
if there's
intentionally.
if any of his movies are present day.
Yeah, they're not modern at all.
Mhm.
And
They're
I'm
always
wondering if
pushed
that's partly
around somewhere
intentional
weird.
because it forces this kind of like there's no immediate answer to a problem. I can't call somebody and say, "Don't shoot that bow and arrow.
I think-
you're gonna hit that dog." It's like,
Yeah.
no, I wrote a letter. It'll get there like 5 days later. The dog's already dead.
Where's Sam? Oh, let's call him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, with my Sprint Anywhere plan, I can take calls on any New England island in the middle of the wilderness. So,
The only thing I could think of might be. I haven't seen Bottle Rocket all the way through. I tried watching it twice this week and I fell asleep. But Isle of
The
Dogs
proto
might be
movie.
present day or future, but definitely like alternate setting,
Yeah.
alternate present. Yeah. But that's all I got. Anyway, so the khaki scouts set out on a mission to find Sam, and like watching it now, I recognize some of the kids, like Lucas Hedges, and there's a couple more I recognize, but I don't remember their names. Definitely seen him in stuff though. But like Lucas Hedges is probably like the biggest one. Like he became bigger than the lead kids.
Oh yeah,
He's like
Jared Gilman.
Manchester by the Sea and
Jared.
a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, Jared is the main kid's name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to double check.
So then we see Captain Sharp notifying the bishops about the missing boy, and then after Mrs. Bishop, who's Frances McDermott, slips away and
Mhm.
meets with Captain Sharp, and like she takes a puff of his cigarette and like holds his hand for a moment and leaves, and then we see that Susie Bishop saw the whole thing from the top through her binoculars from the top of their house, and after like
Nosy.
a day without luck trying to find Sam, like Scout Leader Randy records his audio log,
Mhm.
and we hear the troop morale is very low because Sam is the least popular kid.
Don't have anybody to pick on right now.
Right? Like,
It's rough.
like he's like nobody likes him, so they're like not really trying to find
They're not into doing all this. It's whatever, isn't it? He's gone. That was the goal.
So now we just out here in the woods. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until they all get deputized to find him.
Yeah. Then we see Sam in a canoe. Oh yeah, Randy said that he stole a canoe and a bunch of other stuff. He's in the canoe and he's making his way. Then he's making his way through the tall grass, and then he meets up with Susie in the meadow. And then it goes to a flashback a year earlier, and they're at like a church pageant, and Sam slips
Mhm.
out, and I guess he just, I don't know, he just wasn't interested. I don't know. He slips out, and he's like walking around the church, and he ends up in like the dressing room with some girls in bird
Yeah, he does
costumes.
that. He does that ADHD meander
Yeah,
where
like
you just
I'm
stand
out.
up. You're like, where am I? What is this? What's that? And you just start. The last most recent thing. You don't even get to the thing that you saw before something else catches your attention. He just weaves his way out and around into the dressing room.
It's funny you say the ADHD meander because I'm not sure if I said this on a previous episode, but I remember my first IT job. We were in training, and this dude named Lee, poor Lee, he got up and he just walked out, and then came back 20 minutes later with like some coffee. And like I get it, like he was falling asleep, so he wanted to get coffee, but at no point did he ask to be excused. He just got up and left, and then came back 20 minutes later, and the instructor was like, "Bro, what you doing, man?" He's
It's
like,
funny is like he actually just got up to get a pen or something, and then it just eventually led him to coffee. He's like, "Oh, okay, I got this.
like
What was I
I
doing?"
get it
This
at this
instructor's like,
point.
"What are you
Pen.
doing, sir?" He's like, "I'm an adult."
Yeah, see, like I get that we're adults, so like that was probably Lee's logic, and
Mhm.
he's like, I don't need to ask for a hall pass. I'm gonna just go. But at the same time, it's like the instructor's like, yo, the dude just got up and left. Anyway, Lee got fired before we actually finished training.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
It happened. Some Lee stuff happened some more, and I'll get to those in later episodes.
So tune in next time.
Find out what happened to Lee.
The adventures.
But yeah, so
Lee and IT.
the girls turn around and see Sam, and he asks like what kind of bird the girl in the middle is, and that's Susie. But another girl starts listing all the different types of
So,
birds,
well, I'm a
and
pigeon, and it's like, not you.
he's like,
You.
no, what type of bird are you?
I felt like he was addressing me, and I was like, I want to be a crow.
Yeah. No, it's Raven.
Oh man. But then an adult comes in and she like, all right, it's time for y'all to go up. And then she sees Sam and she's like, you can't be in here. And she did she leave? I don't know. But Susie and another girl were still sitting there, and the other girl, oh yeah, Sam leaves and the adult leaves, and then but there's still Susie and another girl sitting there, and the other girl's like, he likes you, obviously, right? What type of bird are you?
Right.
Start
Risky.
asking women that just for no reason.
Look, I'm gonna say this several times throughout the episode, but like that was like a my nigga Sam. What type of bird are you?
Damn.
So yeah, so then before like I guess the whole troop went to the pageant or the play or whatever, and they get back on the bus, but before the bus pulls off, a kid dressed as a horse comes and gives Sam a note saying, write me, and here's her, and it's from Susie, and she had her address up there. So they became pen pals.
That's technically digits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have phones. It's 1965. They didn't have cell phones, but pen pals is as good as it gets.
You used to write me through the post box.
I think once again, since we're not working with like modern times and conventional technology and everything, we're once again kind of like pushing back to what seems to be like a more meaningful form of conversing long distance, which would be like letters as well. So just kind of nice that it's left to develop the relationship.
Especially back then, I think that was like a sign of like not just affection, but like it was a big deal if someone took the time to write you a letter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the last time I wrote a damn letter.
I don't know if I ever did.
I wrote one back to someone who wanted to just kind of get that going during the pandemic, and I think I wrote the most half-assed letter and was genuinely. I finished the letter and typed on Facebook Messenger, "I just sent the letter I wrote you," and thought to myself, "This is dumb." We're just trading pieces of paper at this point.
You wasted money.
Try to keep the post office open with like 2 quarters at a time. I don't know.
Hey man, heroes work there.
That's right.
You did your part. So yeah, we see them navigating the wilderness and doing nature things and kid things and getting to know each other. And then like at some point we learn that Susie steals library books because it makes her feel happy to have a secret because she's depressed. And Sam laughs.
He laughs
like,
in
wow,
her
face, and it hurt her
You're
feelings.
more messed up than
and she
me.
went into the tent and was crying a little bit. And he goes in after her and he apologizes and he's like, "I'm on your side." And they make up. Like, it's like once again, my nigga Sam.
He knows what to say. Sometimes
She just tells him that she's depressed and he laughs in her face.
And then he's like, oh, for real? Should I hide the knives?
And then immediately like gets out of trouble. It was good stuff. So back at the Bishops, they realize Susie's missing. Also, side note, like Mrs. Bishop, Frances McDormand, she like yells around the house using a bullhorn. And I read that the co-writer, it wasn't just Wes Anderson that wrote this. He co-wrote it with Roman Coppola. Am I saying his last name right?
Oh, the Coppolas?
Coppola, sorry, yeah. Roman Coppola, who, as you know, is a famous Hollywood family. Is it the father directed Godfather?
I think that's right.
Yeah, and like then his children are like writers and directors and stuff.
Roman,
like Sophia. Yeah.
Their cousin Nick.
I was gonna say, Nick was Nicolas Cage at a Coppola?
Yeah, he's a Coppola. He's a cousin, but he didn't want to write on the name, so that's where he got the fucking name Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, but Cage? Okay.
Hey, I watched which Nicolas Cage movies I watched this week? Prisoners of the Ghostland, and I'm like, he's just out here living his best weeb life. Like, if you don't know what that is, just look up the trailer. Look like it.
Ghostland.
Prisoners of the Ghostland. Look up the trailer, and you'll be like, yeah, this is a Nick Cage movie. But yeah, threw me for a loop. So anyway, Susie's mom uses a bullhorn around the house, and she's like, "Hey, dinner, yada yada." And then they realize that Susie's missing, or did she realize Susie's missing, or did the brother snitch because
brother snitched?
It was half the snitching, but I think they realized it'd been more than a day at this point.
Because his record player is missing. He was mad about it. But that's wild. I guess they only eat dinner or eat one meal together.
I guess.
So yeah, so she she tells Mr. Bishop that the daughter's missing. Or she says, "Does it concern you that your daughter has run away from home?" And he's like, "That's a loaded question."
Yeah.
The dad is Bill Murray. Yeah, that's a loaded question. Then they notice Captain Sharp is parked outside the house, just chilling. And Mrs. Bishop tells him, "Susie's missing too. Go find her." And I guess like he was waiting for Mrs. Bishop to like slip away and go out to him, and like that's probably their like thing.
It was hangout time, and now
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh,
yeah, that's why he was
hello."
out there already.
I gotta go do my job, I guess. Damn.
Right. But Mr. Bishop rides with him, and they have this awkward ass conversation. And Mr. Bishop talks about not knowing how to help Susie because of all her problems. And Captain Sharp is like, "Well, how's Laura?" And he's like, "Laura? Like, why you like
Mrs. Bishop?
I mean,
My wife?
it's funny because adults don't call each other by the last name unless they're like in the military anyway. Like he would still call her Laura, right? But I guess it's just how he said it, or well, he already knew at that point, right? That like, or he suspected something. So when
Yeah,
Yeah.
there seemed to be an
how casually
inclination.
he said Laura, he was like, "Laura." Yeah, so that Mr. Bishop got a bit upset about that. But then to get back to the house, and Mrs. Bishop found Susie's letterbox, and it just says like private on it. So she was
Yeah.
like reading all the letters between her and Sam, or at least Sam's letters. And like Captain Sharp says, that's the khaki scout he's looking for. This part took me out, and she's like, he does watercolors, mostly landscape, but also a few nudes.
That cracked me up.
But like we see the pictures too, and he really did draw some naked women and sent it. I think at some point we see them talking about it, and like Susie asked Sam, "Is that supposed to be me?" We can get into it later, but all movie long I thought about what y'all said on Fantastic Mr. Fox about how all the Wes Anderson movies are like kids acting like adults, and then we finally get like the kid Wes Anderson movie,
Yeah.
and it makes even more sense. Yeah. So then we get a series of flashbacks with the letters, and like we learn that they both have behavioral issues, can be a little violent, and they have trouble making friends, and they bonded over all of that, and they came up with the plan to run away together through the letters. Right.
Mm.
So next day, the search party, they're in the meadow where Susie and Sam met up, and like Mr. Bishop has a black eye. Did y'all catch this? Mr. Bishop has a
Yeah.
black
Yeah.
eye, and he says,
That's one of those subtle ones.
"Yeah, like
But
he
yeah,
he
that's-
says Mrs. Bishop stole the batteries out of his flashlight." What? And Mrs. Bishop tells Captain Sharp that he fell in a ditch.
Wait a second. Was it Mrs. Bishop or was it Susie that took the batteries out for the record player?
Oh, you're right.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. I was confused.
So maybe he did fall in the ditch. I don't know. But
Yeah, I think he did.
I don't think he. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Well, because
wait.
later
if
you
she
see
stole
him.
if she stole the lights from stole the batteries from the flashlight,
Yeah.
and he meant to use the flashlight, he could have fallen in a ditch.
It's possible, but they
But there are
a hint
also
about it
weird
later.
random.
Yeah,
There's a lot of random injuries in these movies that are just to do a thing for a second.
yeah.
So I didn't think about it too hard. I was just like, just Bill Murray got hit for real. and
I'll
it's put
bring
in
it
the
up.
movie.
I'll bring up what I'm thinking about later when we get to the part, because maybe I'm putting way too much stock in his black. Like you said, it might just be a random joke or just there for like the moment. But yeah. So then Mrs. Bishop tells Captain Sharp that Mr. Bishop is onto them, and I don't think anything comes of that yet. But the khaki scouts catch up to Susie and Sam in the woods, and like we don't see what happened, but the boys are seen running away, and like Lucas Hedges got stabbed in the back with scissors, and the motorbike is like up in a tree, and a dog got killed with an arrow, and Susie goes, "Maybe I do go berserk," and Sam's like, "It was him or us." You think?
Yeah.
So I wish we had seen it. I mean, I get why we don't see it because like that's the joke. But like Susie, so I'm assuming like Lucas. Keep calling him Lucas. His name is Redmond or Redford or something like that.
Something along those
lines. Because he ends up being like the main bad guy scout. I guess he attacked Sam and Susie stabbed him in the kidney with scissors.
So what cracks me up is that every kid is like, all right, strap up, let's go. We're
Yeah,
gonna
one
take
kid
this
had the
fucker in,
freaking.
dead or alive.
Did you
He's
notice
got
that one kid
like
had
one kid's got a
the Mrs. Bean trench warfare knife?
I
dude,
mean,
like a stick with nails in it, just like
yeah,
and
like they were ready for
Look,
bear.
they did
but
not
when
like
shit goes
Sam.
down and Susie stabs that kid with lefty
Lefty
scissors,
scissors.
yeah, every single one of them drops their shit and runs. They don't pursue anything else. Everybody they drop the bow and
I
arrow,
love the
they drop
scene
the
because
bat.
you see them about to go to war, and then you just see empty woods, and one kid comes running, and then five
Yeah,
kids are running. Like
yeah,
one is like holding his back, bleeding.
just screaming. Everybody drops everything and runs as soon as one kid gets
It's
hurt
like,
and
what the
bites
fuck
in the tree,
happened?
and the dog is dead.
The dog's the dog's name was Snoopy too.
Yep.
Snoopy.
Shout out Snoopy. That's too young.
Recipe Snoopy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, pour one out for Snoopy.
Oh man. So while trying to evacuate the injured boy, Redford or Redmond, whatever his name was, the adults start to squabble, and then the narrator guy pops up, and he's like, "I think I know
Yeah.
where the kid's headed." Right?
I mean the snitch.
The snitch. Bob Balaban, the snitch.
He threw me off too because I thought he was coming to talk to us because he's the
Yeah, because he
narrator.
was narrating
It's like,
only to
oh,
us before.
you talking to the people right now for real? All right then.
Okay, you're
Don't
right.
tell me nothing, I guess.
Oh man. Oh yeah, it would have made more sense if they tracked him, but he just showed up and me like, I know where they're going.
Yeah.
'Cause they found him already anyway.
They found him once,
Yeah.
so
So then we see Sam and Susie at a little beach playing around, and like Sam painting Susie, and
It's
then he even
inlet
makes
3.25.
yeah, mild 3.25 tidal inlet.
There you go.
And like he makes her little earrings out of fish hooks and beetles, but she didn't have pierced ears, so she told him to go ahead and pierce them for her. That
It looks really traumatizing. It's just like,
but she
having
straight, do the other
seen that in real life with just a needle, I can't imagine trying that with a fish hook whatsoever.
I had actually pierced my own lip several times with safety pins when I was a kid.
I believe it.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I did my ears,
Yeah.
and like it's a process.
Yeah, flesh is thick.
You ever see you know what I'm talking about? All these movies where somebody takes a knife and just pleasantly, slowly pushes it into something. No, I don't
Yeah.
think so.
There's some resistance.
If I can't get a needle through my ear in less than half an hour,
Yep.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you gotta be dedicated.
Yeah,
or
you
just
have to
gotta
want
like
to get that done.
real hard. You want to stab somebody, you just gotta go at it like you're trying to aggressively attack that
Sharp
balloon.
needle.
Yeah,
Like what? Okay, the pain is one thing, but why isn't it going?
because it's
If I
just
was-
not sharp enough.
But meanwhile, I can stab the hell out of my finger if I'm trying to sew and hurt myself. What
Yeah.
is that?
So he does one ear, and he shows her, and like we even see like the blood dripping down in the
Yeah.
mirror, and she's like, okay, go ahead and do the other one."
I was like, yo, no.
Shit was wild. Bruh. Yeah, so also because the little beach was only named Tidal Inlet mile 3.25 or whatever, Susie's like, I don't like the name. And Sam's like, what would you name it? She's like, Moonrise Kingdom. So like that's where the movie name came from.
That was very cute.
Yeah, and then we see, especially after the next part, so then we see them having deep conversation and talking about the future. And then they say they love each other. And like, it's real love because Sam warns Susie he may wet the bed later, and she's real understanding about it. And then they have a little dance party, and then then they make out. And like this was hilarious to me. And it was like this is like there's a word for it that I can't remember in romantic comedies, but like this is like the oh they're in love moment, right?
Oh,
But because they're 12, like they had to be they had to use some tact about it. So like
yeah.
I was reading up on it, and there was only the kids, Wes Anderson, I think Roman Coppola was there, and the guy with the camera. So like obviously they, because even with like adult sex scenes, they usually try to have closed sets so it's as least awkward as possible.
Mhm.
But since they're
Oh,
kids, I mean, it wasn't a sex scene, but like there was
what
some
was
feeling.
the terribly ridiculous line? I stopped the movie this time because I forgot.
No.
Oh no.
You can put your hand on my chest.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and he does. And
It-
I'm pretty
oh,
sure more will grow in.
before, they'll grow. I think they'll grow, something like that.
Yeah, I was just like, oh god.
And before
what the fuck?
that, she goes, what she said, because he gets a hard on, and she's like, oh, it's hard, and he's like, I'm sorry, and she's like, no, I like it, and then she's like, then you can put your hand on my chest. I think they'll grow, or they should still grow.
It was just kind of like, I know this is supposed to be awkward, but wow.
I mean, as awkward as it got, it didn't get creepy.
Yeah.
And they ended it quickly after that.
It was as realistic as you
Yeah.
could think
It
would
was.
be.
It was
And
funny enough that it wasn't super cringy,
Mm.
because I was definitely still laughing.
No, that's why I stopped the movie because I was like, I'm just gonna not be able to not laugh at this.
But
I need a second.
this is my third My Nigga Sam movie.
It was relatable.
Yeah, it got me thinking. Like was it that awkward? Like my first. Anyway.
Do you have something to tell us?
I damn sure didn't tell her that like I might pee to bed later. That wasn't a part of it.
No, we kept that a surprise.
Yeah.
I thought I was really being presumptuous once, and I told a girl, I was like, hey, I snore kind of bad. And she's like,
What you
that's
think about that
assuming you're
happened?
gonna she's like, you assume that we're gonna be together when you're sleeping. I'm just covering my bases.
I hope you told her just like that, just real low. I'm just
Kind of like, I just in case I
look,
who knows what's gonna happen. I snore pretty
What's
bad.
the phrase? Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The next day she goes, guess what? You snore. I was like, guess you know who said you know what?
Ren, you're not overanalyzing. And this is me. This is your words, not mine. I like what you did.
So I did not take notes on
Oh,
this.
that's
I
fine.
watched it just
I'm gonna
so
cut
I
this
could
part.
watch it. No, that's fine.
You're good.
I'm a little worried I'm going to repeat the same things I've been saying about the last two movies because we already have a pretty good
Look, I
understanding
was
after
thinking
watching
about
two.
it honestly because I was like, it might like I think I said it before that it probably shouldn't have been my three favorite Wes Anderson movies because I'm just going to praise it 3 times in a row, as opposed to like having different opinions along the way. Especially because I know I don't feel this way about all of them, but I just really wanted to rewatch all 3. So, personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about how much you love movies. Now, I don't actually know if that's better than, giving some critical analysis. I don't know. That's even on my letterbox like thing is like I might not be the best reviewer or whatever, but I love to love movies.
Oh yeah.
So whatever. So we're here now. It'll work out. So I like to believe that like that love is infectious, as opposed to someone wanting to listen to me shit on something for 90 minutes.
Oh no, those are my least favorite podcasts, or what was it called? Video
essays.
essay.
Yeah.
Video essays where you just shit on. Like I watched one recently where the guy just like dunked on like an episode of Daria, and I was like, "It's Daria. You weren't even alive when it came out.
That's
Stop
the worst.
talking."
When you're not that target audience and you got a lot of shit
Yeah.
to say, man, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, you could put me on a black metal podcast, and I'd just be like, "I don't know. I can't understand what this guy's saying half the time, man." And it's not fun for anybody at that point.
You're not supposed to. It's in Norwegian.
Yeah.
So,
but I love the beat. Sorry.
Well, yeah. The next morning they wake up in their tent and Sam opens it to find the entire Bishop family, Scout Leader Randall, some other scouts, and Captain Ward just standing there staring at him. And Mr. Bishop runs up, and Sam hurries up and zips up the
zips up.
And he just picks up the whole tent.
Oh, dude, I totally forgot. You guys missed the was it Shawshank Redemption?
Oh no, I meant to
Sam
say that
escape.
too. That
Yeah, in
is
the
in my
first
notes.
when Edward Norton is looking around trying to find Sam,
It was zipped
he
from the
comes.
inside. How
Yeah,
did
he's
he
like
get
a zip
out?
from the inside. It's like, well, what do you mean how to get out? It's a tent with a zipper. So he takes out his handy dandy pocket tool, which he was issued by the state with his badge,
Oh yeah.
and he hooks it in the inside, pulls it up. They all go in there trying to figure it out, and if you look, there's
There's
maps on
maps.
the ceiling of the
Yeah.
tent, except for one that's misplaced low. And he peels it off, and there's a hole cut in the tent.
Perfectly. This is a round hole.
I was cracking up so hard at that. I've totally
Like,
forgot about that.
it's like an unnecessary homage.
Yeah, you could
feels-
just clip this part out and then edit it back into that, so it makes it sound like we covered it when it
Oh no, that's
actually
fine.
came up.
That's fine. That's my bad. Because
it feels like such a we thought of this today when we started filming kind
Yeah.
of thing. I don't
We
know
just
why.
added that. Yeah,
Like they're just like, you know what would be funny? Because we don't have to use it. We can edit it out if it's dumb.
yeah. One other part I did want to mention was that all the violence in this movie, and I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of Wes Anderson movies, comes across as very like Looney Tunes-esque.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
like the
Um,
electrocuting and Fantastic.
yeah, just getting
Yeah.
struck by lightning.
Yeah.
It would only be topped by a kid walking into like a hole painted on a wall or something.
You're right.
It's fine. I look
Yeah.
forward to it. It helps break up,
Yeah.
the art house
the
drama,
the artsy
of it all.
fartsy.
Yeah.
Let Wes Anderson direct Fast 10-2.
I'm hearing the music. in Vin Diesel. Look, this is the only. I'm mad that you're selling me on AI. This is the only reason I'd want to learn to mess with that
No,
stuff.
there.
Is to create these stupid ass scenarios.
This is my brother Dom. You guys don't look like brothers. We get that a lot.
Oh man. Sorry.
It's actually they actually get the Wilson brothers
What's
to do instead.
right? They replace Tyrese and Ludacris.
Oh man.
Oh, anyway.
We're gonna come back with a fan cast episode.
So the whole family showing up and like being there.
Everybody.
I feel like that's another one of those
there was
relatable moments.
There was a little boat with a little dinghy with the three brothers in it.
Yeah.
That's just another one of those relatable moments because you just kind of like you get like kind of too private with somebody, or you like you finally spend the night at somebody's house or just whatever, and the next morning there's just a
family
person
shows up,
and you're just like confronted with but it being like the entire island.
Yeah. So yeah, Mr. Bishop runs up and snatches the whole tent, and Mrs. Bishop drags Susie away, and Scout Leader Randy hands Sam a letter from his foster father saying he can't come back home.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
It really is.
I know you weren't feeling great, but this letter ought to cheer you up.
Here you
go. And then immediately lets you
And
down.
he feels bad about it too, doesn't he? Like when he hands it to him, like
yeah, he looks visibly.
I'm
like,
sure.
ooh.
Yeah.
I actually felt sorry for Randy the whole movie because he's
trying so hard.
Yeah, from the point where he learns that Sam is an orphan, he feels like he let him down, and every time he deals with him, like you see the sadness on his face.
Yeah, he's like, you don't want to be a khaki scout anymore, because he comes in afterwards.
What did I do?
And he's like, hey, I wish we had time to do an inspection because that campsite was top notch.
Yeah, like,
you sure you don't want to be a khaki scout anymore?
You like,
damn.
how he pitched the tent and set everything up. Like he was really proud of him.
He did pitch a tent, didn't he?
Hey-o.
Sorry, it's low hanging.
No. I that was on purpose. I set it up. But yeah, on the boat, Mr. Bishop scolds Susie, and I think one of the brothers was even like, "You're a traitor to this family." She's like, "Good, I want to be." And like inside the boat down below, Randy apologizes for not knowing about Sam being an orphan and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, that's when he tells him he was proud of him, his scout skills.
Yep.
And then Tilda Swinton, who plays social worker, I actually think her name, like her credited name, is social services.
Yeah. Because that's how she refers to herself. She
Yeah.
says social services
Oh yeah.
has not dealt with this in 27 years of a career. I'm just like, wait, you are social services?
Mhm.
Yeah, services is my mother's maiden name.
So she's on like, I don't want to say it's the phone. What do you call that? I don't know. The headset, the
It's in
dispatch.
Oh yeah.
She's in communication with Captain Sharp and Scout Leader Ward and all that, and
The
she's saying
walkie.
she's coming to the island to get Sam, and both men kind of express concern about what's going to happen to him, and like. Is that when she says that she may have to treat him with like electroshock therapy or something?
Yeah, put him in a refuge, a juvenile refuge. And if that doesn't work,
yeah,
it could be shock therapy.
Yeah.
Which is really hot at the time, a really hot cure for just killing chunks of people's brains and making them possibly incontinent for the rest of their lives. So
I feel like there was just I think I read about it. There's so many housewives ended up getting like lobotomies just because it was like she's just too weird. Like, you mean independent? You mean speaks for herself?
She's having a problem just staying at home and being a housewife? That's weird. Let's take a chunk of her brain out.
I told her I wanted hamburgers for dinner, and she said no. So snip, snip if you could.
Damn.
Yeah, it's an absolute nightmare. The guy who pioneered lobotomies pioneered quote unquote lobotomies, like a charlatan.
He probably was just doing shit.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, but I mean, how much of the medical industry is just people starting out by doing shit?
Just doing shit. It's like, hey, look, this happened.
He was sick, and I put a leech on him, and he seemed like he got better, but then he died. Yeah,
and then I found out he was just really into leeches. And I was like, buddy, it's gross, man. So he was just happy to have a leech on him.
Yeah, it's a weird subset of furries.
Yeah,
slimies.
We got scalies. We got slimies.
Gotta Google this.
Feathery,
right?
Well, feathery. I don't know if feathers isn't some sort of weird thing too.
I recently watched a movie called Wolf from 2021 about a dude who thought he was a wolf, and he was institutionalized in this place for other people who think they're animals.
Okay.
And it's on the artist formerly known as HBO Max.
Is it a comedy?
It's a dark comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like kind of serious, but also they definitely like are playing for jokes.
So a lot more serious than that clip where the kid goes, every form of me except for physical, I am a wolf.
I wonder if that's where they got the idea. All the jokes are like, should I be laughing at this kind of thing?
Oh my
God. But I laughed. So
yeah.
But yeah, so
sorry, furries. You gotta understand, it feels weird. It's odd. Oh, what was
Don't accept her apology.
Oh, what was that terrible, terrible joke? Oh yeah. Inside you, there are two wolves. This furry convention is going well.
Oh no.
And they're both kissing.
What do they call that? Yiffing? I don't know. Don't answer that.
What?
Look, moving on.
He knows.
I think is that a correct thing? I
think so.
Correct, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Cycling back to the beginning of the episode.
I've been on new grounds.
That wolf. Anyway. I've talked about wolves in weird situations too many times this episode, so I'm moving.
We're gonna have to make this episode like extra secret because I think we did too much incriminating ourselves.
But there's nothing to incriminate. But I understand how it looks. It's bad.
I mean, I can make it worse. I used to be a Boy Scout, and I used to be a camp counselor.
Were you a khaki scout?
I was a Weeblos, and then I was a Boy Scout, and my first job when I was 15 was working at a summer camp. So
How do you feel
I
about
we didn't have as many shenanigans though, and no kids got
Mm.
electrocuted.
No, nobody
We didn't shoot any dogs in the neck.
ran away in the name of love. No, no one got stabbed in the kidney. Okay, you don't got to answer
No.
that. No.
Some kids fell in love at Pokemon League when I used to be a gym leader.
That's pretty cute.
That was super awkward because
Oh.
they
That is-
started calling each other
Ooh.
Misty and
Brock,
oh Lord,
Ash.
Ash?
Ash. It's
Okay.
Ash. I
Oh,
kept
good.
I kept trying to say Red.
I thought it was going to be
They
like
kept calling
inappropriate or something.
themselves. They kept calling themselves Misty and Ash.
They kept calling themselves Misty and Professor Oak. It got really weird.
Misty and
Are you a
Psyduck.
boy or a girl?
All right. See, I started to
Sir.
steer it back towards the weird stuff. Anyway,
It's all in the name of young love. Okay, that's the theme of the episode. Okay.
yeah. So yeah, the Khaki Scouts decide they've been too mean to Sam and devise a plan to save him from the social worker that's trying to take him, to possibly remove part of his brain.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, which isn't fair because he's probably emotionally disturbed from being an orphan, they said.
Yeah.
It's nice. They have a little character arc of their own, you know.
Yeah,
will
and like
grow,
all
develop.
the scouts got names, but I didn't try to memorize them. I think this
Oh,
one is
no.
DeLuca.
There's a lot.
Yeah, just I remember
of them, yeah.
Lazy Eye, who has a bandage over his eye. And DeLuca for some reason. That's because I remembered DeLuca's face, and I don't know his real name, but I remember DeLuca's face, and then obviously Lazy Eye because he, yeah. So they go smuggle Susie out of her house, and like they.
Oh yeah,
they left a paper mache dummy in the bed.
they left a paper mache Celine Dion in there.
You don't
just like,
see it though.
pops up out of the bed.
They just say
They describe
do.
it more than a few. They describe it a couple of times, but you don't see it.
Yeah, you don't see it yet,
And then you see it later.
Yeah,
which is honestly good writing. He does that. I don't know if I want to say often, but he's done that before in some of his movies where he describes this weird thing, and then you forget about it, and then you see it comes back. That happens a couple times in the movie, actually. Yeah, so Susie, they smuggle Susie out, and then they rescue Sam from Captain Ward's house,
mm-hmm.
and they try to help them escape together, right? That part was really sweet because, like, I think it was DeLuca or whoever was at the top, or he's like, Sam's like, get out of my chimney. And he's like,
Yeah.
we've had to change your heart. We're here to save you. And then Sam doesn't believe him. So Susie steps up and like, she just smiles and Sam smiles. And it was like, oh,
Yeah, there we go.
yeah, that was real cute. But yeah, around the same time, Mrs. Bishop slips away to see Captain. It's funny, all this was literally happening. Like, I missed the part where Bill Murray, like, he walks out with his shirt off, an axe, and a bear or something. He's like, we're gonna go chop down a tree.
No, it's like a bottle of wine or something. It's like a Chardonnay. It's like a big bottle. And that's probably what led me to leave, like, his injury earlier was self-inflicted.
Okay,
because
just
he
be doing
seems to
shit?
just have a self-destructive kind of personality where he's like, shit's not going my way. I'm going to go do something. I'm going to do it my way. So I'm going to chop down this tree, like 80% of it, and leave it sitting over my head while I pass out drunk underneath
Yeah.
it.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's going through it too, you know. So he's I can't remember if he's awake or not, but you see him in the corner of the screen, laid up next to a tree. Mrs. Bishop slips out, and then the kids come out from under
It's such a loaded
the
shot,
porch or whatever,
like,
right? And another funny
yeah.
thing was like all the kids came out like it's a a double door, like the bottom half and the top half can open independently. And they're all crawling out the bottom, and then the last kid opens the top and just walks in. Yeah, so
no commitment to the bit,
right? So Mr. Bishop slips
The-
away to see Captain Sharp and tells him it's over. Maybe, right? Like she wasn't like it's over, but then she said maybe we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring or something like that. It was
yeah.
weird.
I feel like she's kind of a villain in her own way.
Kind of. I mean, kind of. Well, we could get into it in a bit, but yeah, we get to a moment where she accepts it or something, or she realizes it, something like that. Anyway, so later that night, she apologizes to Mr. Bishop, Oh, this is the part I was talking about. Mr. Bishop, and Mr. Bishop asks for which thing are you apologizing for, and she's like,
Yeah.
whichever one still hurts, and like that's what I was like, is talking about the black eye.
Oh,
He says half of those were self-inflicted, so we still don't know if it's the black eye
those
or
sound like they could be physical, or they could
yeah,
be still
or it's like
emotional
I'm the
things.
reason why
Yeah.
the marriage is falling apart. Like, who knows, right?
I feel like their dynamic is very much like he's more of somebody who falls into self-pity
Yeah,
and doesn't address issues,
yeah.
and then
Which it
in
even
order
happens in
to
this scene. She's like, "Stop feeling
yeah,
sorry
and
for
then
yourself."
exactly. But with that said,
Mhm.
she also is not able to meet him in a certain space to like finish having the conversation. It's like maybe they get to a certain point and then it's like they just toss it and then they go both do
Yeah.
their own things. So then she did her own thing and led the cop on,
Yeah,
and he basically went into his own thing, which is self-destructive behavior, not addressing anything. He
yeah,
has concerns about his daughter, doesn't know how to talk about those or what to do about it, so he just keeps on spiraling and feeling sorry for
and
himself.
this is this their little thing or their things is why Susie is the way she is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what makes it worse.
yeah. So that's the next line is Mrs. Bishop tells Mr. Bishop to stop feeling sorry for herself because we're all they got. We're all the kids got, right?
Mm.
And then Mr. Bishop says, and that's not enough. So like basically everything we just said, like they know that they're they're not doing so hot in the parenting department, or at least
Mm.
he does. Yeah, so that was a deep moment.
I mean, let's
But then
put.
they just drop it though.
Yeah.
Well, now they got to act on it. I mean, they still don't talk about it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, you got a point. One of the Bishop boys finds the paper mache decoy. That shit, I almost jumped because it was so fast.
It's bad enough that they put a paper mache girl in the bed.
They
But
put
the
the
fact that
rope.
they rigged it up to the door so that when someone opened it, it just sat up. It's like, who asked you to do that, Ferris Bueller? That wasn't necessary.
Nah, dude, you gotta teach that kid for snitching. Like,
I hope he got traumatized just from that.
yeah.
I probably would have peed myself. Like, you were not expecting that. You're like 8.
No, it's just the way it sat up. I was like, oh god, just the tiniest bit of jank.
Yeah. Oh man. In the face too.
Yeah. It's like you assume she wears a lot of makeup. What does that say about you, Scouts?
That's funny. So Scoutmaster Randall sits down for breakfast but realizes none of the scouts are there. Cycle back to that first gag. And he sends a Morse code telegram. I don't know what to call that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Is it
it's
just
just
a
Morse code. They just
use
I think that's how they worked. Is the person on the other
Telegram
end
works
typed
with
it out.
Morse code. Okay. Or why is it why? I don't know. Whatever. Telegram, right? Okay. To the Master Scout leader, or I'm sorry, the commander, the Scout commander, forgot his name, or Commander Pierce, played by Harvey Keitel, right? And he's over at Fort Lebanon. And Randy notifies him that his entire troop is missing. And the kids are actually going to Fort Lebanon because one of them has an older scout cousin played by Jason Schwartzman that can help them smuggle Sam and Susie away, right?
Yeah.
Dude, his character is so fun.
So they get there and they bribe him to do they bribe him into helping or do they bribe him into marrying?
Well, he wanted payment.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants
He's
payment
he's
for
like,
smuggling them off to like a skiff.
So
he
to be
wasn't
a
going to do it
shrimper
for free.
So they gave him like a tennis ball canister full of nickels.
for $76 in nickels.
And
And what's funny is that like that opening scene where you get to introduce to his character is like comes across as like a penny pinching grifter almost
Yeah.
running a stand. Be like, hey man, you know how it is. You want a drink, you want some snacks, you want a snake bite kit. You bring money.
That's funny.
You know, very shrewd.
I thought he was
I've
a
been
scout
bitten.
leader, and then I
Yeah.
realized he was just supposed to be an old ass kid.
Yeah, it's the oldest 12-year-old.
What did you say, Tim?
Oh, just Just I've been bitten. Where's the money?
No.
Give me the money. Give me the money. So yeah, then with that, the kids are like, oh, we want to get married.
Yeah.
Like, where's your
That's
chapel? It's
right.
like, what do you mean chapel? It's a scout jamboree. Like, it's like, oh well, we do have a chapel.
But the chaplain is out.
He's out.
He's
He's
out.
out though.
Like what?
He's sick.
What is with this camp?
But what's hilarious is that, like, as shrewd as Jason Schwartzman character is, he's so precious about everything else. Like, no, this is marriage.
Yeah.
This is the biggest decision you're gonna make.
It's not
Go
legal
talk
in the
about
eyes
it
of
by
law,
that trampoline.
but
Exactly.
yeah, go think about it for a little bit and come back.
Yeah.
And,
They come back. Yeah, we're gonna do it anyways. Oh, okay.
and you don't even hear them talk about it. You just see like
Yep.
there's a kid jumping,
Kid jumping on a
trampoline.
Yeah.
So they come back and he marries them, and then one of the scouts is like, "Could you give them the money for their future?" And he's like, "No, that's my payment."
It's my money.
It's a shot of all of them staring daggers. Like, fine,
He slides it up.
take the tennis ball can.
I'm concerned about their future. Can but yeah. So they go to leave, and he goes to sail them out, but then they come back, and Sam's like, Susie
Immediately.
forgot her binoculars in chapel,
Uh,
and he runs back, and then he spots Redford, who the kid who got stabbed in the kidney, in the hospital. Well, he was standing in front of the hospital tent, and he's like, "Why'd you never like me?" And Redford's like, "'Cause nobody does." And Sam's like,
herd mentality.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Sam's like, bet. And he charges him, starts stabbing him in the kidney. Then
He starts punching him directly in his wound. Like
it wasn't even a punch.
That's
He
smart,
was
man.
like it was like the fingers just.
That's smart.
I mean, yeah, but damn,
got the binoculars.
this was another
That's
moment
true.
where like, oh yeah, they're violent. Like he went straight for it. It wasn't even like a
Yeah.
punch. Nah, they locked up, and he immediately just went for the kidney. And so Redmond starts screaming, and like the alarm sounds, and Sam, I think he does get the binoculars, and he books it, and like, but the whole camp starts closing in on him, and like Redmond's like, get him, like there's the fugitive, and yada yada, and like the whole camp starts
They
chasing.
do the Benny Hill
Practically.
run throughout the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, yakety sax.
Yep.
He's got the can, and he snatches a flag, and he's gonna make his last stand on the rock. And he's like, "Fuck y'all!" And then he gets
Oh, no.
struck by lightning.
There was a sign as they ran in that said lightning field, and I was like, how do you just know about that? What? This is a crazy person's camp.
Hey, the light or something about Fantastic Mr. Fox and Thunderstorms, lightning storm.
Yep. I was thinking the same thing because there's also a thunderstorm when the bishops were having that conversation as well.
Okay.
He's like, I wish this roof would just tear off and throw me into space.
Oh yeah, the roof
I'm
would
like,
just tear
Fuck, dude.
Well,
Cry
I
harder,
forgot to
bro.
mention that there's I did mention it, that the whole time a giant storm is on its way. That's another layer of like urgency, so that they
Right.
really need to find these kids.
It's a ticking time bomb.
So yeah,
They not Pavlov's gun, Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's gun.
The can of
The shortest
short.
amount of time between introducing the element
mhm.
and just having it happen.
It was like
Because I
something's
thought
got to happen
lightning
with this
field.
tennis ball can. They were
Yeah.
too, like they were talking about it a lot. What's going to
Yeah.
happen? And then when he gets hit by lightning, the money just poof goes through
Yeah.
the air like popcorn. I was like,
I had to rewatch
okay,
that
cool.
real fast because I thought it was blood. At first, I'm like, oh, like that's a lot of blood for a Wes Anderson movie.
I was like,
Nope, it was just change.
it's just nickels.
Just nickels. And he gets up fine. He kicks off his
Yeah.
flaming shoes, and he's like, "I'm good."
Yeah, his folks catch up to him first before the other scouts do, and he's like, I'm okay.
Just like fine.
They just stood there in shock for like 5
Yeah, it's
minutes
like
and let them get a good head start.
Yeah, they thought that kid just died.
Yeah.
So yeah, they escape over the fence and like as they're running away, we see them run across a bridge, and then we see across a bridge that's across a dam, but then the dam bursts because of all the rain and the it's a flash flood
Mhm.
and the storms here now. So Scout Leader Randall arrives at Fort Lebanon, and like the Commander Pierce strips him of his command because he lost his whole troop, and he's like, it's the worst leadership ever seen. And then the floodwater rushes into the camp, and but Commander Pierce had gone back into his command tent, and that
Yeah.
like what happened? Oh, the
Full
it
of
knocked the bridge.
fireworks
Yeah,
and
it
Yeah.
knocked the bridge off that knocked a tiki statue or something, I don't know, onto the tent, and the tent
totem pole.
explodes. So then Randy jumps the gap, runs into the flames, and
Yeah, Edward
saves
Norton Cassidy and White Man Kendra too.
and he saves Commander, and he jumps back
Uh,
across the gap, carrying him on his back.
The whole ass man on your back, and you
dude,
you just pulled a Jordan.
Yeah.
were you looking at his legs that whole movie? Man, he's got
Yeah.
them on display.
Hey man, he just got leader for a
Gams.
reason. So yeah, so he saves the commander, and then he like leads all the troops to safety, which is the church.
The church.
And we also
Yeah.
see that the Sam and Susie and those scouts that they ran to the church too, and I guess that's the highest point on the island or something, or at least that's like the evacuation zone.
Yeah,
the
designated
island.
shelter.
Yeah. So everybody's goes there, and then we see the bishops and Captain Ward get there too. And Randy tells him that Susie and the boy ran away again, and then social services shows up, and she's demanding to see the boy and chews out Captain Sharp and Randy because Sam is missing again, and she had heard he was struck by lightning. Like how she heard that
Things
already?
are moving too fast.
And we had seen, like, as soon as he came in, he actually saw it. Captain Sharp noticed that the kids were on like up above the pulpit by the organ, but they were dressed in the animal costumes from the pageant where Sam and Susie first met. And like they were just chilling up there, but he recognized them because one had binoculars and the other one had the raccoon hat.
The
still.
hat. Yeah.
And Sam even sees that Sharp sees him, and he like tries to hide the raccoon. It's funny, but Captain Sharp doesn't rat him out yet.
Doesn't snitch.
Yeah, because they don't want social services to take him either, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Redmond sees him, and he's like, "Look, they're up there,"
Yep.
and he snitches.
Snitch.
Yeah, jeez.
He was ready.
Lucas
And he
fucking
did get
Hedges.
He did get stitches.
He did get
so.
stitches. He didn't learn his lesson though.
I mean, in this case, did stitches make snitches?
This time they
This
do.
time it did, yeah. Stitches make stitches. Yeah, so now Sharp has no choice but to chase after the kids. So Sam and Susie escape to the roof of the church, and like they climb up to the steeple. And mind you, the hurricane is happening. It's nighttime, there's rain, wind, and these idiots are climbing up to the top of a steeple. And Sharp got to go after him, right? So Sam and Susie decide that like this is it. They got to jump, and they're aware that the water, like the flood below, the water might be too shallow, and they might break their necks and die.
They're super nonchalant about it.
Yeah, they're just like this is the way it is. Or they're going to get captured. So like Sam is like, if we die here, like, they share one last moment, and Sam thanks Susie for marrying him, and they kiss, and like Susie gets zapped, and she's like, I think there's still some electricity in you. It's a cute little moment. And just as they're about to jump, Sharp reaches them, and he tells them that he'll become Sam's new foster dad. And like Sam looks at Susie,
that's cool.
Susie approves, and Sam agrees. But then the steeple gets hit with lightning. Like explodes. And then we see that like because before Sharp climbed up there, he tied a rope around himself. So the rope has him, he has Sam, and Sam has Susie, and they're just dangling off the top of what's left of the church's steeple, right? But
yeah,
he was there for him, and he saved them.
Yippee-ki-yay, little kids.
It is pretty funny though that it feels like there's a lot of the, like, I don't want to say there's a lot of Chekhov's guns, but Susie's parents both being
Lawyers, yeah. And
You
they
know
made
what
a
I mean?
note to
Yeah.
say that they were both lawyers in the
And
beginning.
exactly. And the thing is that they're basically running the service worker, social services.
Mhm.
Basically through the entire program, it's like, no, you cannot deny this person. Like, it's like we've established that they're lawyers in the past,
Mhm.
so we can have
Yep.
this
This
scene
moment, yeah.
specifically. Yeah. And so they're basically reading her the riot
Yeah.
act. Yeah.
They get her cornered enough, she'll just be like, fine.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. She
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like already exhausted with it. She's like, I had she playing right here. I got to talk to these guys about why they're unfit guardians. And now I got these 2 lawyers on my ass telling me that they'll like litigate if I deny like this cop wanting to adopt a child.
Mhm.
And I'm just trying to get back to my job in New York as a bald lady.
Protecting the
I
time
just want to
stone.
send more kids to get lobotomized. It's fine, right?
So yeah, in the final scene, we see that the hurricane erased mile 2.3 or 3.25 tidal inlet from the map, and Sam and Susie are together at the Bishop house with the 3 brothers, and like Sam's painting, and at first you think he's painting them, but nah, he's painting the inlet, their
Yeah.
the special inlet, Moonrise Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if I can buy that print
That'd be dope.
That'd be pretty cool.
and
Yeah.
frame it. Like hell, I might paint it myself because I got skills, but like
Oh, that sounds
Get like
fun.
a really nice gaudy gold frame.
yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Yeah.
Remind me to check that out later. See if it's something I can get.
That shouldn't be too
I'll
hard.
make
to
it
find.
happen.
There's got to be an Etsy.
Somebody.
You start just painting them on your own and like have them at
Dude,
cons.
it might be
Oh yeah.
available at
Like, hey, you over there, looking symmetrical.
So
I'm gonna look at this painting.
I don't regret doing this, but I no longer am a fan. But I once cosplayed Neil deGrasse Tyson at a Comic-Con, and my wife, I painted I forgot what it's called, but that nebula that's always the symbol of cosmos. I
Yeah.
painted that to be held behind me by my wife as I walk around, and I'm just like,
That's
I'll send you the
pretty
picture.
good.
But literally 4 people that day asked me if they could buy the painting. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's really cool.
Perfect.
Can I
Yeah,
get
side
that for
hustle.
sale? Yeah, and I never did because I don't even know where the
So
painting
my
is. I
painting.
could have made some money. It's not. It's definitely not hung up,
You still can.
right? Yeah. But anyway, I say that to say I shouldn't. If it's not available, I can paint Moonrise Kingdom. Or
Right
For
on.
sure.
I'm pretty sure, what's that one website that got all the cinephile merch, Super Yaki or
Oh.
whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I know.
I remember I bought, I think it's called Super Yaki. I bought my wife a free Ben Solo hoodie from him. Yeah, so anyway, I want that painting. But yeah, so Susie gets called for dinner, and Sam slips out, and he tells her he'll see her tomorrow. And then he goes to join Captain Sharp parked outside of his spot.
It's funny because like all he seems to really need and strive with is like structure.
Yeah,
That's why he was so good as a khaki scout.
yeah,
But now he's a cop
yeah,
and a cab.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm sorry. ACAB
Yeah.
includes Sam Kuklusky.
close enough.
Kuklusky. The cluster.
Somebody in a movie group we're in, they said, "What's your favorite cinematic pig?" And I can now add Sam Shikutsky. Yeah, he had
favorite
on his
cinematic
his
pig is
little-
Porco Rosso.
That's mine. That's
Ooh,
that's
I've never
literally
seen
mine.
all of that one. I've never seen all that, and I love the story, so I should probably watch the rest of that.
It might be on Max still. I know the Ghibli movies are
It
still
is.
out there. But
It is.
that was the thumbnail for the post. So my answer was
Oh, nice.
that one. But now I
Yep.
can go back and add Sam Shikutsky. But yeah, he had on he had on the same uniform that Bruce Willis had
Yeah,
on the island
And the
top.
hat.
Yeah, with a little hand stitched hat.
So now he's his little sidekick, which is cute. So yeah, so we can assume that their issues got solved now because Sam has a guardian that has proven he cares for him. Susie's mom isn't cheating on her dad anymore, which was probably the root of her issues, like her parents' problems, marital problems. And the 2 kids now have friends and love in each other. Aw, so all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
Sort of. I think Susie's parents are kind of like an inconclusive thing. It feels like it feels like part of them not understanding how to deal with their kid was also exacerbated by the fact that they didn't want to look inward at their problems.
Mm.
Like Mr. Bishop wanted to like do the self-pitying spiral, disassociate himself
Yeah.
with whatever means drinking, and Mrs. Bishop sought something outside of her marriage without addressing what's happening with her family either. So it's kind of like a stalemate for the moment, I
Yeah.
guess. You just assume that everything's going to be chill. So
Susie might end up better
Yeah, at
because
least now
now
she
she knows
has.
that they are trying to pay attention. Those boys are going to be felons.
Yeah, yeah. Also, she's probably old enough now that like now that she has Sam, she's got somebody that's there for her. That now she's like, all right, well they fucking around, but whatever. You know,
I mean,
I got a buddy now.
hopefully. I can't think of a single Wes Anderson movie that has a happy marriage, though.
I mean,
So
I'm not saying it's happy now. I mean, I guess I'm saying it's happy now.
It's
But,
more stable now.
yeah,
It's
more stable.
possibly more
That's fine.
stable, but I don't know.
I guess what
if-
I'm trying to say is I think Susie gonna be all right though. We got
Yeah.
her far enough.
Yeah, that's the impression that like Susie and Sam are gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So
Cute.
until the next movie, which is Moonrise Kingdom 2,
Their
in
marriage
which
is struggling.
Sam has taken his job too seriously.
It's 19.
He can't separate himself from
85.
structure. And Susie has a tendency to just straight up stab people when she gets angry still. So
Because it was real quick, but wasn't there like a flashback where she said that one time she broke a window or something and got glass in her mother's head?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
She
they're
was
like,
picking
Her
out the-
she's like picking a. I was like, oh
Damn.
my,
she got mad and threw a rock through a window.
Susie, please don't.
Look, my nigga Sam absolutely looks like. Well, one, he married up. Susie was pretty, and Sam looked like a little nerd. And she was taller and everything. So good for my nigga Sam.
And her parents are lawyers, so
Yeah, he ain't got no parents. So
yeah.
Yeah,
things were working out for Sam. Look, I ain't mad at him. And he had swag. I'm talking to you.
It is pretty funny too. I don't know if you remember in Grand Budapest Hotel with Zero,
Mhm.
but there's always this kind of like sneaking relationship deal where everybody knows what's going on, but they're still sneaking around like kids. So like Zero's sneaking out of his fiance's house and like talking when her dad is in the room, even though he's trying to sneak out. And then you have
Was it even
Sam
her dad?
now.
Was it her dad, or like she just worked there?
or was it-
Which I thought was even
I'm not sure.
funnier. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could be wrong because she did live there. Like she slept where he was.
Yeah, I wasn't sure personally.
I just thought it was funny that like maybe she just lived in where I don't know. Whatever. I'm throwing this off, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, just the idea of like a secret tryst. I mean, you had the same thing with like Owen Wilson and I'm totally running a blank on her name, Gwyneth Paltrow.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean? We're like, ooh, like secret tryst.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how many more movies there's like that kind of a running theme
There's
with Wes
definitely
Anderson.
2 in French Dispatch. So it keeps
Secret
going.
tryst.
Yeah. I Love Dogs. Yeah.
Secret tryst. I can't remember. I need to rewatch Isle of Dogs too.
But yeah, I didn't get a whole lot of trivia on this, but one thing I did notice while I was watching, I let the credits roll, and you know how the movie starts out. They put on a record on one of the kids' little record player,
yeah.
and if you listen to it, it's like some orchestra music, and then there's a kid dissecting it and talking about this part and that part. So
Yeah.
the theme for the movie starts playing, and then the kid starts talking, and he's introducing each instrument element during the credits.
Yeah, I'm watching that right now.
It's pretty
That's
neat.
fantastic. And the music is Mark Mothersbaugh. So
Who's that? I'm not familiar.
Mark Mothersbaugh, he did the music for Everything Good, Beetlejuice, a lot of Tim Burton movies actually. I know there's a television show that a lot of people don't even know he did the music for. He's from the band. Wow, all of a sudden I can't. Oingo Boingo from back in the 80s.
Fine.
Okay.
And he's done so many good stuff. Batman.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like real good.
Which
stuff.
Batman?
89.
Okay.
The bat, the one.
Sorry,
not,
I
not,
shouldn't have
not the other ones.
asked. I got you. That's pretty cool. So, you know what I'm about to ask? Who's your favorite character?
Favorite character and who you probably are.
Yeah, that's the next question. It's here to stay.
I like Randy a lot. He tried his hardest. I was almost sure he was going to end up having Sam as a kid.
Me too. Yeah.
But there's a good chance I'm Susie.
Stab people in the kidneys
Like I be trying to like be cool, but like next thing I know, I didn't hurt somebody's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I didn't stab them physically, but they're just like, I don't like talking to Tim no more. He was saying mean shit. Like, I didn't say anything mean. I just said what your problem is.
She's got a real talk shit, get hit personality.
Yeah.
Like
she does.
She'd be fine in that juvenile detention facility.
Yeah, they could send her there. She wouldn't have a problem.
I said I love stories about kids doing hood rat things with their friends, and Susie was a real one. Sam was like, "Look, it was him or us."
Shit happens, man. Sorry about your dog.
To be fair, they didn't kill the dog. When the kid with the bow and arrow killed the dog by accident.
Kid with the bow and arrow probably saw somebody get stabbed and went, "Oh shit!"
Let go.
Was that Eye Patch?
I don't remember.
Oh, I thought Eye Patch had the bow and arrow.
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
You know what? And that makes sense.
I forgot.
No depth of
no depth.
No shit.
He probably was like, oh. I wonder if that is a hidden little thing that you could pick up on if you put the pieces together. If he was the one with the bow and arrow, his throw was not going to be true because he's.
Oh man! If only he had the trench warfare knife or the nailed bat
that nobody ever used. Nobody got to touch any of those things.
That's because
that's right.
Redford went down too
Bill
fast.
Murray ends up having it later when he's like trying to get everybody to shut up. He just randomly has it. It's like, whoa.
Oh, it's wait, are you talking about in the church with Bruce Willis?
No, it was Bruce Willis. You're right. It was Bruce Willis. He just randomly had it. It's like, bro,
he left it in the woods. Yeah.
I picked it up when we were back at the woods.
I guess so. Damn.
Oh man.
Driving around my cool ass station wagon, I saw some nails in the road, and I was like, no, we can't. I flex in this car. No, I can't blow a tire. There's no mechanics here.
How brutal would that be? Tiff, did you have
favorite character?
Yeah, give it
characters.
I felt for Randy. I loved Sam and Susie. Like those are definitely my favorites. Probably Sam is on top because once again, my nigga Sam. But what character am I? I think Sam, even though I've been hyping him up the whole episode. I mean, I'm not an orphan, but I feel like enough people don't like me, and I'm fine with that. I don't know. Maybe Susie. I don't know. It's definitely one of the emotionally disturbed children that might be violent. I'll leave it at that. Oh man.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I think I like Susie the best because I like that weird switch between personalities. Mm-hmm. But I probably identify with Jason Schwartzman's character the most. Like Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh yeah. Okay. I like it.
Super serious about some things, but just be like, hey, this is important.
Yeah.
Okay? You take time.
Yeah.
You think about it.
Think about it and come back.
On paper, it doesn't fucking matter, but it means a lot spiritually. So
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And he was totally willing to smuggle these kids out to work on a shrimp boat.
Shrimp boat. You can work on a shrimp boat as a claw cracker. I was like, what? That's racist.
That's great on a resume.
Oh man. So who were you? Right. Were you rooting for the kids the whole time, or were you like, these kids are stupid? I hope they find them. I mean, they didn't really have an end game.
Yeah, that was my thing. Is they really didn't know what they were gonna. I think they planned as much as going out and having a good time with each other, but
yeah,
beyond that, they didn't really have a. I'm pretty sure neither kid thought that they were going to have a search party coming after them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's what cracked me up. Like they're like, "Oh, we'll probably be fine. We got away. We set up camp on a beach." It's like you set up camp on a beach. You know what I mean? There's no forest to cover the
Yeah, there's no
tent.
cover.
You're in a bright ass yellow tent on the beach on an
They
island.
spelled
Like
out Moonrise
they have a
Kingdom in giant
plane,
rocks.
dude. And it's just like, okay, there obviously wasn't an end game, but they're 12.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
See, and that was the magic of it to me was they're 12, so like they're in that window where like puberty's starting. They may or may not have started puberty. Like they're old enough to know about adult things, like the stuff they talked about on the beach, but
mhm.
not have really experienced it, and also like young enough to still be stupid.
Absolutely.
So like it's the perfect age to have a movie like this, and I loved it.
There, I don't know. It's just one of the cuter ones of these movies that he's done. He's done a
Eventually,
lot of real cool shit, but this one was like super cute.
yeah. Eventually, I was rooting for Captain Sharp also. Not just because Mrs. Bishop let him down, but like after the conversation in his house, in his boat, I don't know, the trailer, what that was.
Trailer.
Yeah.
Like he just lost his girl, or his girl was never his, but you know what I mean. But now he has like new purpose, and he was already. You could tell he was already kind of formulating like, I'd keep this kid. I like him.
I like
Dude,
when
He gave him
like
beer.
when he gave him the beer.
I knew you were gonna say that, dude. The kid just dumps out his milk.
Yeah,
like he
He's like,
has.
"There
He
you
doesn't
go."
just have a son now, or could have a son. He also kind of had a
Yeah.
friend. That's
He got a homie.
yeah.
You got a trainee.
It's like, would you like to go with us off island? We're gonna maybe get some food, like somewhere else. I gotta check with the homie first.
Yeah.
Die Hard, why do you have to check with the homie? Because I gotta check with the homie.
It's like, yeah, bring me back a Sixer. It's fine.
Oh yeah. So I had this rated higher than Grand Budapest Hotel, and I think they're equally perfect movies. And this one just kind of got bumped up a little bit because of kids doing hood rat things with their friends. For me, but yeah, I loved all of it. Literally the only criticism I have is just a general Wes Anderson criticism where he's allergic to black people. Like I think he doesn't have anybody, like any person of color in any of his movies is either there specifically because they are of color, i.e. Zero because he's an immigrant,
Yeah.
until, I could be wrong here, and like the Jarlene Unlimited doesn't count because they're in India.
Yeah, it's in India.
Yeah.
Until I think French Dispatch with Jeffrey Wright.
Didn't that movie like just come out not long ago?
2021. Yeah. So his first movie was 96. Yeah.
It's one of two decades of
he's
movies.
been getting that criticism for a while.
He's got a rather Tim Burton-esque outlook on casting.
It doesn't seem like it's malicious, but at the same time, it seems
And
like
you got 40
don't
white
know
people in this
anyone
movie.
black.
Yeah.
Like you don't know anyone black, and you don't know how to.
You put 40 of your friends in this movie and not one. Yeah. And like, so if they're not white, then they're there for a specific purpose until French Dispatch. And then there's there's two, because actually I don't remember. Is Benicio del Toro Latino or is he a Spaniard?
No, I think he's Latino.
Okay, because I know Javier Bardem is a Spaniard, but he always
Yeah.
plays Latino, but he's a Spaniard. Benicio del Toro, if he's Latino, then him and Jeffrey Wright are the first ones that were brown, but that didn't matter.
Brown adjacent.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen an Islander or an Asian really in a
unless it
Wes
was
Anderson
there
movie.
specifically to be like they had to be that race for the script or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess
Oh.
I'm gonna give him a little bit of credit for French Dispatch on that. But still, like, that's his 10th or 11th movie. So
Sorry. Benicio del Toro is Puerto Rican.
okay,
Sorry.
okay. So he got two.
Okay.
So thank you. After 25 years.
We got it.
But yeah,
We got
like I
it,
said, that's
guys.
a general Wes
did it.
Anderson.
A quarter of a century of films. We finally got some in there.
Well, so George in Life Aquatic, but I feel like that doesn't count because he was supposed to be like foreign, right? Just like
Yeah.
Zero was supposed to be an immigrant.
And he was making a contribution to the soundtrack as well.
Yeah,
So it's difficult to tell how much of his appearance was not gimmicky, but like because
Wes
it was
Anderson heard the
part
music. He
of
was
the
like, "Hey, I
soundtrack.
like this, and I'm gonna put you in the movie." Versus, "Hey, you're my black
Yeah.
friend."
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, that's a general Wes Anderson criticism, not so much criticism of the movie. I absolutely love this movie.
Hmm.
Yeah, y'all. I mean,
This this
if you remember
So
your
what?
ranking, you could say that too.
No, mine is simple on this one. This is one of the ones I would recommend to just about anybody.
Mhm.
They don't have to really even like
This seems like an
arty
easy way to get
films.
into. Yeah.
Yeah,
This one's fun and simple, and I can't think of too many people that wouldn't like it unless they just like only Fast and Furious movies past 5. That's the kind of film person where I don't know if they're into films. They only like the fast movies past 5.
hey, here's the thing. I know a lot of pinky out cinephiles that didn't start until after 5, and they like them, but they like them for like it's almost like a breath of fresh air. Like, hey, these
Well,
movies are
it's
stupid and fun. That's all I care about.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind of like if it's kind of like when you go to a car show. This is I'm telling too much about myself. You'll be attracted to a spotless 55 Chevy Bel Air. You'll be like, that's some dope shit. That thing's in perfect condition. It's completely restored. It looks brand new off the factory floor. But like a random Civic on 17s for no reason, as low as possible, with like a wing on the back of it, you're still gonna go over there and look at it. You're gonna be like, well, what's going on
that
over
is the
here?
greatest
Is that a
metaphor.
NOS bottle in the back seat of a Civic with a baby seat?
I know just enough about cars
Oh,
to
I'm
fully
still checking
appreciate
this
this.
out. I'm still checking this out. This movie is definitely something I would recommend to people though.
Yeah,
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
the simplest, easiest way to give my rating on it. It is one of his best movies.
mm.
It is a different feeling than some other ones. It's not so breakneck that you like
Yeah.
get
The pacing
lost
is great,
until
but
like
Yeah.
the last
and
act.
not
It
fast.
speeds way up.
Yeah, it
Then
speeds up in the last when the storm hits.
Mm.
But also like there isn't a whole lot of info we need to absorb during that. So
Yeah.
that's probably
Yeah.
like what it is. Where like
Yeah.
Grand Budapest, there's stuff we need to
Yeah.
know while it's flying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
Yeah.
you sneeze too hard, you miss an important element in Grand
that's
Budapest. It feels
a
like.
good way to put it.
Yeah. What's your rating, Ren?
Oh, man, I'm gonna be typical. I'm just gonna give it a 10.
Wait, but
I
this is
think I own it.
important. This is important because you didn't like it when you first watched it.
So I didn't like it. I don't know why I was being so like curmudgeonly about it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I think I was looking for something closer to what I first enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I wasn't looking for like, oh, 12-year-olds in love, whatever. So, but watching it again, I'm like, okay, I can appreciate it. I think it does what it intended to do,
Yeah.
which is the other thing too, is like appreciating something for what it's intending to do and how well it pulls that off, as opposed to what you're expecting it to do or what you want it to be.
Yeah.
So, after watching again, I'll go with Tim. I would recommend it to anybody who has that kind of inclination for kind of a more artsy film. I like that it's kind of a light R rating. You know what I mean?
Like
It's
they
not like it's not
literally,
hard
if you
R.
look at it, the rating, you know how they get specific now with the ratings? It
Yeah,
says sexual content.
it's technically true.
Yeah.
It could even be. It's so awkwardly portrayed though that you
Yeah.
could put both of those in like parentheses.
Yeah.
It'd be like
Sexual
sexual quote unquote
content.
content quote unquote. It's like okay, like I'd probably let my 13-year-old watch it. It doesn't get extreme.
Yeah.
There's like no cussing.
No, no.
Nobody even says cuss. It was
Nobody
so
even says
The
disappointing.
kids don't even
Yeah,
cuss. Yeah.
yeah. And it's pretty sweet. Except for the endorsement of the cops. Um, I'd give it 10. I'd give it an easy 10. But once again, I'm biased
Yeah.
because talking to the same person who just was like Wes Anderson movie. Let's go watch it. I don't care what it's about. Still feel like I catch up on though.
It's all good. I'm sitting here thinking like I'm say something groundbreaking. I'm not. I would buy the DVD for my collection. I'd buy the full price Criterion. 10 out of 10. Still 10 out of 10. Like I said, both this and Grand Budapest are my favorites, but this one gets just a hair above Grand Budapest because of the kids doing hood rat things with their friends.
Yes.
So
if I ever come back, I hope that I see a movie.
You'll come back.
Where
Why are you saying it like that?
I don't know, man. I don't know what you guys are gonna watch. I don't know if I can sign up for all 10 Fast and the Furious movies, man.
Look, I'm gonna do it. We look. You don't have.
I'm hoping.
You
I'm
don't
hoping
have
we'll
to
watch
be on an
something
episode
challenging
to
enough
watch the
to where
movie.
I'm conflicted about like the rating. These ones, I'm like easy
These are
10,
easy. I got
easy
you.
10, easy 10. And I'm just like, crap. That just makes me sound biased.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, great movie. Anything else we missing, or we want to?
I think that's episode. That's good stuff.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think. I mean, aside from all the silly like little antics that we could like
Yeah.
go back, pick up. It's like, oh yeah, I think we've kind of covered it with like the last two movies we had watched as well. Like any further analysis just feels like being a dead horse. But
yeah,
regardless, I think so much of his work is at least worth watching once.
Yeah.
So I don't know about French Dispatch. I haven't heard anything great about that. I wasn't crazy about the Darjeeling Unlimited.
It's like
personally,
it's like the joke ran on too long, and now the snake is eating its tail when it comes to French Dispatch.
Oh, okay.
I still want you to watch it so you can let me know, because maybe I was sleepy. I don't know, but like only a third of the movie clicked with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
I need to watch more random stuff from him just so I can make sure that I'm not just biased towards his work in general.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm ready for the space one.
Wes Anderson's Armageddon.
Oh, you talking about Asteroid City, or you literally mean like a spaceman?
No, Asteroid City looks like it's just flat out sci-fi. So like, let's see what you do.
All right.
He got to do horror next, all right?
Could you imagine? I can't.
The terrible thing would be if it was like, okay, this is purposely kind of funny, but with a horror vibe. What would be worse is if you're watching it and you're like, okay, Wes Anderson, oh my God, no, why is this freaking me out? Stop. Then he just starts putting stuff in the middle of the screen and just goes off center.
Oh,
People
man. I really want to watch it, but I know that he would never.
He probably
like Asteroid City is probably the hardest sci-fi he might go.
That's as far as it's gonna go. And the ship from the preview has his touches all over it, so it's like, okay, it's just gonna be kind of campy, maybe not.
I think his next movie, I don't know if it's claymation or stop motion or not, but it's called Authentic Mexican Restaurant, and I need to look up.
Oh my, what?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm happy y'all had to say. Anyway.
I'm looking that up right now.
Moonrise Kingdom was great. Budapest Hotel was great.
Oh my God.
So thank you for listening. Plugs. Anything? Tim?
There are no new ways to say I am D&D Sluggers. I do my own brand of weird nerd music. You can find it if you search D&D Sluggers. There's always the joke that you would also find a baseball team, but I never bring up the fact that one of these days I want to take 20 people and go to their baseball game in my shirts and start chanting and confuse the shit out of them.
What is a hot banana? Ren?
Nothing much aside from the usual. We are on Instagram and TikTok as Power Bummer. We just kind of do some light graphic design work if anybody's interested. We haven't made any posts in a little bit because we've been working and doing school and everything. So yeah, basically. But we're always available to get stuff done. Tim, what kind of music is D&D Sluggers? I had to ask because you've mentioned it a few times. I'm like,
now I'd have to lie a lot if I wanted to tell you what people from the nerd scene say, but if it were up to me, I would say funky 80s 90s inspired pop.
Okay.
I like a lot of really crunchy synth funk, and I got really kind of heavy into some of the I don't bring this up, but I got really into like a lot of the like sort of Japanese like guitar pop scene where they would
like city pop kind of deal.
not so much. Well, I did get into that later, but like you had bands like the Pillows,
Love the Pillows.
where it was just like such heavy, ridiculous synth. Obviously
we're
inspired by
talking
like the late
Fooly Cooley
90s.
soundtrack.
Yeah. Obviously
Love that.
inspired by late 90s American bands that were kind of like post grunge.
Okay.
But like I like to get in that kind of style, but it's so all over the. What I've always wanted to do is complete an album that sounds like it is the soundtrack for an album, not the score, but each song sounds like an individual song from a different artist picked for a soundtrack for a movie. That has always been my goal, to make my album sound like that.
That seems busy work. So yeah, right.
I get closer every time until I did that synthwave album where they all kind of got closer in genre for once.
You just sell out and do Cantina music. It'd be fine. Star Wars Cantina music. What do you do? Star Wars.
It's metal versions of the Cantina band.
See, whole album.
Now I don't even know if that's been done yet.
I'm leaving this in hopes someone is like, "What, the Pillows? I fucking love the Pillows."
Dude, the
D&D Sluggers, not the baseball team, guys.
Okay. In parentheses.
I've always wanted to do a shirt that was baseball themed and then put not the baseball team.
There you go. In parentheses on the back of the shirt, D&D Sluggers on the front.
Yeah. For me, Tivzilla on Letterboxd, and follow the podcast on Twitter at SGBK Podcast. And if you haven't already and you're still here, please like and subscribe. I usually can't stand when people shout that out all the time, but now I understand why. Because I straight up will forget. There's a couple of podcasts I listen to, and I was like, I never clicked subscribe? Okay, well, so appreciate it. Thank you. And that was our Wes Anderson miniseries. Hey, we're going to do a Christopher Nolan one next.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to pick all the ones I gritty. Like. Okay. We'll have more to say about those. But he also suffers from the same problem of being allergic to black people, so it works out.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
Good night.
It's like an epidemic.
So I don't understand why Spike Lee doesn't put more white people in his movies. Meanwhile,
I think the criticism got to him because he eventually got Baby Denzel for Tenet. But before that...
yeah, that's a good point.
I'm just end it.